So, why is the federal government of Nigeria afraid of this dialogue, what you are referring to as a conference? Why are they afraid of it?
I think it's just fear of the unknown, fear of the unknown. Somebody says, we've disagreed. Could we sit down and talk and forge a way forward? And you're scared to talk because you think that whatever is going to be the outcome of this discussion will not be in your favor. I don't understand it. I think that's where we are now. You don't even want to talk. So what else do you want? All this imposition will not go on forever. That's what we have now. You're forcing people, whether you like it or not, it has to be this way. And the people are resisting it. It's natural. It's natural. If the people agree, representatives of the people agree, this is the way we want to go. That's why we don't seem to be making any headway.
All right. Now, I'm going to ask you something. What do you think? Do you think that because Nigeria is really what to call it a perilous time, a dangerous time at the moment, no? Both from the point of view of economy, security, to many other things, no? Do you think we will be in this position today if we managed to avoid the war years ago?
My answer to that would be that if we had agreed on the discussions, like I said, the discussions held and the way forward, probably if we had gone that way, we would have avoided the war. And Nigeria would have been a lot better for it. The regions would have developed at their own pace. Each region would have advanced at its own pace. And at the end of the day, probably all of us would have been happier for it. But it never happened. We lost that golden opportunity.
We lost that. And this is what we have now.
Yeah.
So personally, speaking from your personal experience, what would you say have been the effect of the war on you, personally speaking?
First and foremost is that, like every young person then who was in school, I lost 3 precious years of my life. Educationally, I lost 3 years. I lost friends. I lost relations, and so many other things. And you find that there are some of those effects that are really lifelong. You never recover from them, which is very true. You never recover from them because if an event happens now, some people lost limbs. Some of them are still alive. Probably, if not for the war, they would have had all their limbs complete. Some people became blind and they are still alive. Some of us are more fortunate. We didn't have any of that, except that we are set back educationally. We lost uncles, cousins, friends, and so on. And for all your life, you keep remembering. I still remember a lot of my friends who were very close, who were very dear to me. And I don't feel fine, when I remember. Or I remember some incidents while the war lasted. And for those of us who are religious, we just say it was just God. I was in a lot of situations where I could easily have died, but somehow I survived. And that is it.
So what would you say was the most dangerous moment in the war? Because, the war now, it appeared also as a game, no? Because you are playing it, you are continuously playing it, and it's going on. The only difference from a war and a
It's
game is
true.
that people are losing their life. You just see
Yes,
your loved one dying, and this is real, unlike the
yes,
game. So
unlike a game.
what do you say? What can you say was the most dangerous moment in this game of life?
Um, like I said, I was working with the Biafran army engineers, uh, what was the name we were called then? They had the name for the group. And, as the war lasted, the Biafran territory was shrinking because the Nigerian army kept overrunning towns and so on. I think my dangerous moment was when we had to go to a place close to Mahia to retrieve some machines. And unknown to us, the Nigerian soldiers had already occupied the place. And we arrived there at midnight, and we came with, trucks, all these low beds, and we had to move those lathe machines. They were giant lathe machines onto the low bed trucks and then drive them out of the territory. Even the army commander, because the local army commander in the place, the infantry division, when we are going in, told us that they were not in control of that area and they could not guarantee our safety and advised that we had better not go there. But when, because our own commanders in our own unit had asked us under the pain of death that those machines must not fall into the enemy hands. And we went in, and thank God we successfully retrieved them under gunfire, under artillery bombardment. We were able to make it out in safety. That was like my most scary moment while the war lasted. And I thank God that I'm alive to tell this story.
It's powerful. And now, that enemy you were just referring to are now your fellow countrymen. Now we are going to use the words of General Gowon again. No victor, no vanquish.
Vanquished.
Okay, so we are neighbors, we are friends. Now, you tell me, when you sit down your children, your son, your daughters, and you tell them the story of Nigeria, of the Biafran War, of your experience, and maybe somehow a word like love for your country comes to your mind, how do you break down all this to them in a way that they can understand that they will build one Nigeria?
Well, I think the first and foremost thing is that I let them understand that what happened and belongs to the past. That it was as a result of a disagreement that we actually went to war. But those days are past, and if we, the parents, have accepted the rest of the people as our brothers once again, our children are bound to do the same. Now they have friends from cutting across all the various tribes and ethnic groups. So I don't really think it has affected our children negatively. No, it has not. I might not be speaking for every parent, but for my children, definitely. One of my daughters, her best friend, is from one of the other tribes. So it is. We have come to accept that the war has ended. We are reconciled to be our brothers' keepers once again. And that's where we are.
Thank you very much for that, sir. I know that is a hard question. I know. I'm a human being. And when we are called upon to tell our story, we also call upon to be sincere to the story and to the feeling that we have. Because it is real. Upon the story that we tell, because I think this is what makes us actually different from every other living thing on earth, our ability to tell story. And we really must keep on telling stories and also be sincere in the kind of story we tell because it have consequences. I really thank you for the way you tackled that.